Perfect. So we're gonna go over now. You're very new, so if you have questions, please ask because all everyone is gonna see this that they're new, and I'm assuming they're gonna have the same questions you have. So anything
Okay.
that you have, even if it's something small, please ask. I'm gonna try to explain everything, but if you have questions, let me know. All right. So welcome
Okay.
everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and go over. This is Joe. Joe, say hi. So we're gonna go over the first welcome aboard. On the welcome aboard, you're gonna see the checkout. You can see what I'm sharing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on the checkout, we tell you that there's two type of checkouts you're able to do. You're able to do a union checkout or you're able to do a child safety kit checkout.
Okay.
Both of them are perfectly fine. Both of them will work. Now, in the classroom that you guys are going to on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're talking about the union checkout.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're gonna tell you that it's better if you learn the child safe checkout because it's a lot easier. Okay. Now, let me explain. With the union checkout, this comes directly from the company. Okay. The child safe comes from me, from us, but the union comes directly from the company. So when it comes to union presentations, we can't have you pass checkout for something we made. You can only learn that after. But with the union checkout from the company, if you look at here, the company is gonna have you download the Adobe software, which all of you guys should be familiar with that. Um, they're gonna have you download this software in your
Mhm.
computer. You guys have a more free items, and we're gonna screw up as included in all the communication. Okay, so you can use their stuff, and they're gonna have you download like all these examples, all right, or the actual files. And then what you got to do is, if you're gonna do a presentation, you gotta open up the Adobe software on your computer. You gotta organize the slides and then do it, right? Now I'm like, well, there has to be an easier way. Like, do all these new people have to download the Adobe software? Do they have to download all these slides right here? Do they have to organize it? And then when you actually do a real presentation, I think it looks pretty ugly. That you have to click on every single tab at the top so the client could see all these pages right here. Uh, in the video, it should explains how the tab works. So you click on it. I think it looks really ugly. Okay. Um, let,
You're right. You're right. I agree.
let me show you. Process. Trying to give you some information, man. Do
I've
the
been
correct
working on that
situation.
one.
See
Yeah.
that one, and then you gotta. It has all this. You gotta
All the
click on everything
tabs.
on the top. I think it looks ugly. I think there
Yeah.
should be another flawless way, like an actual presentation, like a slide, like the way it should be, a slide. So that's why. Uh, so this is why I made slides for each type of presentation that you don't have to download anything. But we'll talk about that later. So on here for the union one, you have to download all of that and do it, right? And here's the union. It says 2-page script, but it's like 3 or 4, I think. And it tells you more about it, right? And it tells you how to use the slides. Okay. Now, when it comes to this, is the union checkout. All right. When we actually do a real union presentation, we actually are not using the Adobe software. We're not using the the ones that the company made, the pre-slides the company made, we're not using none of those. Okay. What we're doing, this is a union presentation right here, union prezo. Remember how I told you I don't like downloading the whole Adobe here. So we have one union slides. The slides are available online, and you don't have to download any Adobe software. You don't have to download any slides. You don't have to download any pictures. They're already pre-downloaded online, and you have access to it anywhere you go as long as you have internet. Even if without internet, you can download this without internet. And it's actually, I think it's a lot flawless because when we do a presentation, a union one, all you do is press present and you talk about it. So the name of the
Wow.
company is American Income Life, and it tells you more about it here. And you all just press next, and it's a flawless transition. of what you're talking about. Recruiting, offering
Wow,
someone an opportunity. Let's go over your accidental coverage. Everything is flawless, right?
looks
Um,
good.
with the one that the company has you do, you gotta again organize it and pre-download Adobe. I don't like it. So you might be asking yourself, well, why don't we just do this as a union and pass checkout with this slide? Well, it's just we can't because the company says if you're gonna do a union checkout, you gotta do it our way. At least the checkout section. Once you checked out, then you can learn whatever way you want, but at least the checkout has to be done our way. So uh we don't actually do this one when we're after checkout. We don't even look at this no more. We stick with this one. That's why we tell you if you want to do a union, perfect, but you have to follow the way the company does it.
Mhm.
So the company says if you're gonna mess with the union one, don't only mess with it after checkout. So that's what we made. I'm like, that's what we're like. Okay, fine then. We're gonna um, have them check out using the child safe. Okay, why? Because all these slides you saw here, they're all available depending on what type of presentation we're doing.
Yeah.
Union Prezo, child state presentation, referral presentation, WOCA presentation.
Wow.
If you click on the child state presentation, all I gotta do is click it and it automatically opens and you start. And it's gonna be in different order, of course, because it is a union one, so it starts off with the company information. There's a child safe prezo, so it starts off with Amber Alert, and it goes straight into the child safe. Unlike this one, it goes straight into the AD&D first. So we have
Makes sense.
slides that talk about each presentation. Slides that you don't have to download the Adobe software. You don't have to pre-download the slides. You don't have to download the pictures. It's already online. It's flawless. You don't have to download anything. All you need is a computer to do this, right? So that's when we told you that Charles, you're gonna learn the way we do presentations by using the Google online slides. You're never going to use the download Adobe software slides from the company. That's
Okay.
only going to use once if you want to do checkout with the union one, which is nothing wrong with it. Now, the child safe, if you click on it, it has the slides right here. And you just open it. You don't have to download anything. It's that simple. And it comes with the script as well. Now, is very familiar with the union two-page script, except with this one, it actually tells you exactly what to say in each slide. So you don't even have to think. On this one, it just tells you when to share, when to unshare. This one, I'm telling you what to say on every specific slide. Now, there is a bigger intro, correct? The union one has this simple intro. Do you remember this letter? It came with the card you filled out. Does this ring a bell? This is the intro for the union one. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, this is the intro that we use to check out Union One, but you're not going to be using this intro on a real presentation. I'll tell you that for sure. This is way too short of an intro to use on a real presentation. So
Okay.
this is a lie, okay? Uh,
Mhm.
we should do this to pass checkout. But on a real one, it's more of a, hey, I have to report. It's like a big paragraph that the real intro for Union ones,
Teach me the
because
real thing. Thank you.
yeah, because
Yeah.
this one is just gonna it's enough to pass checkout. And after that, because
Not
I mean,
enough.
think about it, it's so short. This is not gonna make sense with anyone that I'm talking to. I can't just say one sentence and go straight into the benefits. They want to know more about what's going on. Okay. Uh, so like I'm actually gonna show you. This is the real union uh, intro that my agency does. Okay. Every agency has different slide of words. Uh, this is the intro, the real intro. Compare that to that you see here. See,
Mhm.
because the intro for every presentation is one of the most important things. The client only remembers the beginning, the beginning, the end, and how you made them, how they felt throughout the whole presentation. That's all they remember. They don't remember the middle. They
Yes,
hardly
sir.
remember the middle. It's only the beginning and the end and how they felt throughout the whole presentation. So that's why your introduction has to be on point. Okay, so that's why this whole union one, it's okay enough to pass checkout, but you're gonna have to learn more than that, all right? So
Thank you
on the
for that.
child
Yeah.
safe one, we could have gone two routes. We could have given you just two sentences enough to pass checkout, but then you're gonna have to memorize more. So instead of doing that, I'm like, well, why not just show them the actual thing they gotta memorize? So after they pass checkout, they don't have to memorize no more things,
They're
you know?
ready. Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm not gonna, you
Great
know,
job.
uh, all of you guys are smart, so I'm just gonna give you the actual thing instead of just giving you two things to pass checkout. It doesn't make any sense. So that's why this is a longer one. So that's why when people see this and they see this, they kind of get, oh well, it looks like the union is a lot easier now, but later you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this it breaks down. It says slide number 2, exactly what you gotta do each slide. So here's the slide number 1, 2, and 3. So it tells you slide number 1. Now there are some colors here. If it has no highlight, that means memorize it.
Mm.
Yellow highlights, you don't have to memorize it because you're reading it literally off the slides. And the blue highlights is stuff that you know write down on the EAP program, which is what we use.
This is great.
So one example, the introduction has no highlights because you have to memorize it.
Mhm.
And then you go into the briefly go over the first slides. It should take more than, yeah. So this is for them to use as a, let me see,
Mhm.
okay. And if you notice part 1, slide number 3, so we're here. It says here, it's in yellow. So what does that mean? We don't have to memorize it because it's on the, it says, and just for good measures, here's my ID badge that I will have with me if we were to meet. And if you look at it, it says here, and just for good measures, here's my ID badge that I will. So you don't have to memorize it because you're literally reading off the script, the slides. Okay. Now for slide number 3, part 2, it's not highlighted, so you have to memorize this part. Now,
Yes.
because COVID has affected many businesses, and then highlight it. One way we're helping is by offering dot dot dot. Who do you know dot 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 because it's here. So all you got to memorize is now because COVID has affected many businesses. One way we're helping is by offering opportunities to anyone looking for a new career, career change, first time employment. It's literally right here, so you don't have to. So this is actually less to memorize,
Mhm.
okay? Because some of the things are already in the whole thing.
Wow.
All right. Okay. So then it goes into the now on the union script, the first no cost benefits is the accidental death and dismemberment benefit because it's the union one. So they want to know their benefit first, their accident insurance. We're not going to talk about the AIL plus or the child safe first. We're going to talk about the AD&D first if it's a union one, followed by either your choice of child safe or AIL plus. And the child safe, they requested a child safe program. So we gotta, of course, talk about the child safe first, and
First.
then the AD&D and AIL plus. And then it tells you what to say on every single slide. Okay. So that's what when I was that's what we tell you. You can choose which slides you want to memorize. I mean which either the union or the child safe. However, we prefer for you to do the child safe one because those slides are the actual slides you're going to be using. And the union one, those slides you're going to use to check out, and you got to use all this type of slides. So might
I
as well just
agree.
learn the
No.
actual thing we're going to do. You know,
No.
start
Thank
reading around
you.
the bush and just go straight to it.
Yep.
Um, because after you memorize the child safe one, of course, yes, we're going to have to start working on the union presentation. But we're not going to work on this one, though. We're going to give you the real one because this
Mhm.
is just a checkout version one. So the union one,
Oh
it's
man, thank you.
here. But
Sounds great.
don't
Thank
bother
you.
looking at it because it's the same thing. Like I'm gonna click on the real union presentation. After this, everything else is like the same thing. You're gonna realize if you practice with the child safe here and we do a union one, the only thing that has changed is the intro
Mhm.
and then the order of what benefit you give out. That's the only thing that changed. Okay.
Cool.
So does that make sense why we tell you, yes, you can pass out with the union or the checkout, but we much rather do the checkout because with the union, you don't have to download all of that.
Oh, shelf safe kit. No, I
Does that make
agree.
sense?
It sounds so much better.
Okay. Now,
And the
I
other
want to,
one's just like two sentences, so I could get that done. Like, we'll go back to
Oh,
that.
the union one is 2 sentences to
Oh, you
pass
said the new one,
breakdown.
okay, yeah. No, the
The
real
real
one.
one is actually a good paragraph because it's how the real one looks. And the real one and all this stuff you got to pre-download it. You don't have to do it on the real one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why. Now on the classrooms that you're learning, they're teaching about the union one just because we have to. There's things that we have to follow regardless of what we don't like or don't like.
yes, sir.
There's orders that come from the top, so we gotta we gotta do those orders. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
that makes sense now how the union and the child safe uh actual presentations work.
Yeah, great help. Yeah, I'll do the child safe kit to check out and I'll be ahead of the game. Thank you.
Good. Now I'm gonna stop this recording. Thank you for participating.
No worries. Yeah.
Let me see.